What's up, everybody? It's Coach, and welcome to Wargaming Questions. This is the weekly wargaming show where we answer questions about wargaming, hobby, tips and tricks, and anything else you want to ask us about. This week's question is, does the price of games dictate what games you buy? So before we get into this week's question, if this is your first time here, why don't you consider subscribing? We also have a Discord server, link is below, and if you want to support the channel even more, why don't you consider joining our Patreon? All right, so this is a tried and true question, and this is one I've had a lot of discussion with the guys I play with. When you see a game and a game's coming out, does it dictate to you going to the game? What I mean by that is this. If it's very, very expensive, let's say game number 2, and it costs a lot to get into it, where you got to buy armies, you got to buy vehicles, you got to buy a bunch of stuff to get into it, and the buy-in's very high. Does that put you off, or you gravitate towards, let's say, games that are a lot cheaper with a cheaper buy-in? And what is a cheaper buy-in? You know, is $1,000 cheap, or is like $100 cheap for you, an easy buy-in? Or are you looking at a game like a skirmish game where you can spend about $30, $40 and start that game? Or does that not even matter? Do you just buy games because you like the way it looks? All right, so this is a tough one for us because it depends on the game. If it's something we like, we're probably going to get into it. The thing is that price does for us dictate what it is. Not like a lot of people who watch this channel that are independently wealthy, but price does dictate what game we buy. But the problem is with that is there's some games that come out and I'm like, you know what, that looks very expensive, I don't want to get into it, I don't think it's going to be a good game. And then 3 months down the road I'll play a game and I'm like, oh my god, I got to get into it, and then we start getting into it. It's very hard for us because I don't know if price dictates it. Going into it, I think we know what the price is and we know what the commitment is price wise, so it really, for us, depends on the game. I don't think price puts us off, but it does make us a little trepidatious to walk through that forest and try to start that game. So for us, price does have a dictate over what kind of a game we're going to play. But if it is a game that we really want to get into it and the price level is a little high, then we got to trim the fat a little bit and budget ourselves to get that game. So what do you do? What are some of the strategies you use to pick a game? Let me know, comments below. All right, so that's it for this week's question. If you have a wargaming question that you would like answered, why don't you leave a comment below and we'll get to it in another video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.